Hello, this is the 218th edition of Catch of the Day, available on the Branch Talk YouTube channel. Today we're going to continue reading from a book written by Doug Mitchell, entitled The Four Carpenters, The Ensign, The Time of Jacob's Trouble, and The First Deliverance. Starting near the top of page 57, we read, Furthermore, it is the Assyrian, U.S., England, and allies, that is in the process going into the Mid-East to do away with nations not a few. Isaiah 10:7. In order to protect his interest there, and will, in fulfillment of God's will, end up punishing the hypocritical nation. Isaiah 10, verse 6. The unbelieving Jews in Israel. And then fleeing from there when the ensign is glorified and empowered and given power over the nations, and will, after he shall go forth of the promised land, plant his tabernacles of his palace elsewhere. Also, in the foregoing quotation, Brother Hodder associates Isaiah 27:15 with the time when Michael delivers his people. What is notable about that are his comments on the verse that precedes that one. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall beat off from the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt, and ye shall be gathered one by one, O ye children of Israel. Isaiah 27:12. As the saints, the firstfruits, are to be rescued one by one, he at first sends fishers to fish them out, and afterwards hunters to hunt them out. Jeremiah 16, verse 16. Thus he gathers them one by one. Isaiah 27:12, 13. 1 TG 9:5. As it is the firstfruits who are to be gathered one by one, and then delivered when Michael stands up, then it must be they who were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and that because of the yoke Sunday laws the Assyrian had placed upon him. Revelation 13:13-15. Here you see that this unification of the world, engendered to bring peace and harmony out of the present chaos, will instead bring even more or even greater time of trouble. And why? Because though the two-horned beast may bring communism and capitalism to mutual agreement and cause them to bow down to the image of the beast, the scarlet-colored beast, yet those whose names are written in the Lamb's Book of Life will never comply. From this you see that the whole plan is directed by a supernatural power whose aim is to boycott the people of God. They shall nevertheless be delivered. When the two-horned beasts decree is passed that no one can buy or sell, and should be killed for nonconformity, then God only can protect his people, the people whose names are written in the book. Such is his faithful promise. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was, since there was a nation even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Daniel 12, 1. 2 TG 17:11. A time is coming when the law of God is, in a special sense, to be made void in our land. The rulers of our nation will, by legislative enactments, enforce the Sunday law, and thus God's people be brought into great peril. When our nation, in its legislative councils, shall enact laws to bind the conscience of men in regard to their religious privileges, enforcing Sunday observance, and bringing oppressive power to bear against those who keep the seventh-day Sabbath, the law of God will, to all intents and purposes, be made void in our land, and national apostasy will be followed by national ruin. We see that those who are now keeping the commandments of God need to bestir themselves, that they may obtain the special help which God alone can give. They should work more earnestly to delay as long as possible the threatened calamity. In our land of boasted freedom, a Protestant government should sacrifice every principle which enters into its constitution and propagate papal falsehood and delusion. Well may we plead, it is time for thee, Lord, to work, for they have made void thy law. Some may think that because it has been revealed in prophecy that our nation shall restrict the consciences of men, it must surely come, and that if we make an effort to preserve our liberty, we shall be acting the part of unfaithful servants, and thus come under the condemnation of God. Take care.